Hello, hello. Emily here with Just Ask Em. I am here with my girl from the South. Introduce yourself, little mamas.
Okay. My name is Victoria. I am from the South. I currently reside in Nashville. I am a mother by day and night, and then I work for a local hospital. I would do bed board. If you know, you know. But if you don't, then I just room patients on a board to make sure everyone has a place to be.
Have that good insurance, because if not, see you outside.
Okay. And to make sure they have a bed and we know where everyone is. Because if you don't know where no one is, then you're pretty lost in the sauce.
Might lose your grandma, but it's okay.
We'll find her eventually.
Eventually. So we are here, episode 17. Chillin'. This is actually the young lady who gave me the opportunity to plan her daughter's 3rd birthday in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
Which was that was my first official out-of-state party planning, which was so exciting. We could probably talk about it now because everything turned out great. There might have been a mishap with the cupcakes.
Maybe. Who knows? Who remembers?
That was quite exciting. And you learn as you do these things, but we're always super grateful for the nice clients who are so sweet and understanding as you're licking blue dyed icing off your hands on the side of the highway because the cupcakes fell off the back seat and the tray opened. But we fixed it. And I fixed my mistake, and I was honest, and I called her and let her know I felt like I was getting in trouble.
Oh, the way you called me. You're like, I'm so sorry, but the cupcakes spilled in the back seat, and I'm like, this was a rental. Way worse.
Mind you, this was a rental car I had, so I'm just like, what do I do?
I swore I thought it was something way worse, something happened and you won't be able to do the party, and then I've been like, okay, well, I hope that you're okay, but it was cupcakes. I could care less. We had other things to eat and do, so.
Some people would have been like,
yes.
What you doing? What's wrong with you? So that was that. But, it eventually, it turned out well. I think everybody was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, growth. The title of this episode was, growth. So I told her, I said, typically, I'm usually having, somebody I personally work with or a business owner or, a specific topic. But I guess it's finally nice to be here because I feel like it's been, so much, business and stuff like that. And then I had so many guests that when I did an episode by myself, I was trying to be cute and have a mimosa in my hand, and I was barely sipping because I was like, oh, when I stopped talking, nobody else was talking.
Okay, yeah.
You're right. Okay,
Quiet.
Pause. 1 minute. Intermission. But, so this one was the growth of women, and I think I'm realizing I'm more excited about this episode because this is... Everybody was asking me, well, what's your podcast going to be about? And I was like, I'm like a free spirit. I go with the flow, inspiration, creativity. I let my crazy ADHD brain, whatever they call it, do its thing and just come up with topics. And when I first started, I had a list. And I love talking about business. I love, supporting and advertising people. But I think what life is, then you have to kind of take a minute, step back and slow down and just this. Mm-hmm. Just real life, daily life, the people who you've known for years, but then it's really, how much do you know them?
Yeah.
So our story is kind of funny because I've known of you for many, many years.
Yes. For 10 plus years.
Yeah. And it is what it is. So I always lived in Buffalo, New York years ago. Me and my sister, we went to New York City. I had met a guy. It was long distance, kind of dating him for a while. And then we just ended up being friends. And you were always his best friend?
So let's be clear.
Okay.
Whoever can see this. So I considered him my best friend. I would call him for everything. I don't really know if it was reciprocated. Let's say it like that. We were just super good friends. Very, very, very good friends. I've known him since I was 17. I've known him for a long time. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So then fast forward, I think, did you always have a crush on him?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how it started. When I first met him, I was like, oh, he's so cute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We became friends.
But you knew him way before I even knew him, right?
Probably just 2 or 3 years before you met him. So it's not too long. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that was that. So fast forward, growth. And the good Lord working with us.
Yeah.
Because between you and I, we've had our petty phases.
Oh, yeah.
We've been very mean. Just, I had to be reminded, I said that?
Yeah.
No, there's no way. But, you just...
When you're young
Yes,
and you're naive and you're not
And a
where you need to be
female with
here,
emotions.
there you go, then you end up saying a lot of things that you probably, well, not you probably, you do regret saying later down the road, and you're like, ooh, like you just said, ooh, I said that. Like,
really?
ugh, okay.
But also, too, on a deeper level, because I had to learn this in my personal life as well. Hurt people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we could probably equally say that that was the case. But it's also, too, not being in tune with, you know, who has you angry, who has you this emotionally hurt. And then eventually getting to an age where you are conscious of it enough to accept it, address it, and then heal from it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, like, not keep doing that. Because the reality, and this, like, I was just telling you this earlier, I said sometimes I struggle with excuses because, yes, I have to remember everybody is not me. But I also see what I'm capable of doing, what I have done, you know, what you make the time to do. And people can do it if they really want to. Because the people you want to see, the time you want to make to see people or do something with people, you can make it happen if you want to. Because if you're making time or effort for this, that's because you want to do it for that. Whereas if you're not, or you just choose not to, it's because you don't really want to.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You know, and I think there's such a lack of the authenticity of, just saying that. Like, if you can't make it or you don't want to hang up or hang out, I'd rather you just let me know than just have me sitting there like, like, is it me? What's happening? Just, hey, I just ain't in the mood to hang out today. Hey, I just need distance from the phone today. I'm just going to disconnect. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's somebody you feel like you need to explain that to, and then there's people, if you don't got to explain it, then don't explain it, and it is what it is, because people are going to be in their feelings, like, either way. Absolutely. So getting back on track, after a certain age, I feel like there's really no excuse of, if you see yourself hurting somebody, whether it's through actions or words, you got to be conscious of that. People have feelings. To be kind is free. And us women, we the worst. We the worst.
Even when we say we don't care, we care.
We of course we care. And it's the pride thing, whether it's a woman, whether it's culture, we are so prideful. We're thugs. Her and I, we thugs all day. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's a gang affiliation. No, I'm kidding. But I think it's just like, yes, we have feelings, just like men. You know, men are supposed to be providers, protectors, but they also have feelings, and it doesn't make them weak.
No,
for having
not at
feelings.
All. Absolutely,
you know.
I agree.
So these are the topics that I did want to base my podcast on, because these are the topics that are just not talked about like enough. Whether it is just conversations or what we're advertising on social media or just between people, like we have to normalize. Yes, between you and I, we are strong, independent women. You know, we don't need a man. Mm-hmm. And I've had to be careful how I say, I don't need no man, this and that. Because we all need somebody. You need a man, you need a woman, we need each other. We just do. It's how humanity is. But can we provide for ourselves? Can we figure out things for ourselves? Yes, we can. But we would also like to want and need a man.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like so many women, I don't need no man, this and that. Okay, well, unless you can make love to yourself, you need a man to a certain point, whatever you're into, whatever it is. But we need loving, we need kindness, hope. We are humanity. That's what is supposed to keep us going, So it's like, regardless of race, skin color, whatever the case may be, we are all a human race. But the differences like culture and tradition and like beliefs, and even with the differences between that, we should still learn to be respectful, like within that, which can also go to, fast forward, her and I, we chilling.
Sitting on the same couch.
Right? She came to see me. Yeah. I ain't pulling out the hoops. She gave me some new hoops. So like, you could say I'm extra today. I'm feeling myself, But the growth is not impossible.
No.
Whether it's between men, women, relationships, friendships, whatever the case may be. And, fast forward, if I may share, like you and him much later on, you had your moment and now you share a child.
Yep, we do.
Yeah. So the purpose of this is absolutely growth, because her and I, if we were in the same state, probably would have been like fighting. She probably would have won, because I don't think I could really fight. I don't know. But like, fast forward, that's what it was, having the understanding, accepting it, and you giving me the opportunity with my event planning business to plan your daughter's birthday. Like, that's maturity. And like, I probably didn't get to know you more than I did since doing that and talking to you. I was like, oh yeah, she definitely came a long way. I said, she's definitely growing and maturing. I said, like,
even probably just overhearing me sometimes.
Yes.
Like, that's Victoria? Like, oh, okay.
I said, she know you talking to me? Because like, you know, me and him, like, we're still cool. We're friends to this day. We understand like what it is. We can still have, you know, conversation, and it's cool. And there's, with everything that has history, there still has to be, you know, like a certain level like of boundaries.
Yes, yeah.
So, you know, when we would be chatting on the phone and she was in the back, it was just like, okay. She sound different. She sound cool. Like, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying, where it's just like, that's how reflective and important growth can be. And in the sense of like, when you genuinely start looking at yourself and you know, your story, what your history is, you figure out, okay, something's not working, you know, this isn't working out for me. What can I better within myself?
Right.
And as women, we don't do that enough. It's always their fault. It's their problem. They're the problem. This and that. Listen, we all the problem. Ain't nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just hearing her voice, I heard like the change. So, and then like, I don't even know how it started. I think it was like an indirect joke. And then eventually I was like, tell Victoria something.
Yeah. It was little things here and there. Like, tell Victoria hi, or all right. I remember one time. Because I
want to be respectful.
I had made Tres Leches cake, right? Excuse me, that's his name, sorry. He was like, oh, he told you, and you were like, ooh, let me find out she makes Tres Leches cake, let me get some. And I was like, okay, tell her she can come on. We're like hundreds of miles apart, but you can come get a piece, you know?
Right. And that's what I'm saying, though. Like, when you put the pride aside, you know, a little just goofiness, you never know where it can lead, because, like, you definitely in town.
Yeah.
You are definitely at the Airbnb of M, and, like, and we're cool, we're chilling, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, like, sometimes you want to tell people like, well, this works, but you can't always say it until a person actually absorbs and comprehends it.
And they're ready,
to accept it, where you can help somebody step 1 through 9, but that 10th step, they have to do it because they have to genuinely want to do it.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of the time, I feel like I have, you know, good advice. I haven't lived everybody's life, but I have had a good share of experiences. And I like helping people. I like sharing my experiences. And that's why I created the platform of this podcast. Because the reality is, the world we live in these days is very sensitive. Can't keep it too real. Can't say this or that because, oh my God, that's offensive, this and that.
Yeah.
Versus, thankfully, we were born in the 90s. Let's take a moment to be thankful. And born in the 90s. After that,
I mean, it's even a cutoff probably a little bit before the 2000s, you know? Like, probably like
95.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
maybe 98. We'll give you 98.
Okay, yeah,
but
that's
like,
pushing. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, those types of things. But, like, back then, like, we, you know, you could say things. You could joke around. You could do light bullying, you know, but the purpose of that was it just gave you thicker skin, you know. We like, I came at you hard as hell and you came back at me, and we were like, we survived. We were fine. Like, you know, we were, you know, going live, giving our last video of saying goodbye to everybody. You know, it's too, and don't get me wrong. Yes, there are people who are genuinely going through situations that can lead up to that, and that is something to be taken very seriously. Checking on your friends, checking on your family, because just because somebody isn't constantly complaining, but if you're a person who's constantly like absorbing everything or people's problems, or you're just being so nice because that's just all you know how to do, that still can be detrimental to somebody. So just constantly being kind, being mindful of that stuff. But even with our rocky past, you know, we went through it. We let time go by. We worked on individual growth within ourselves. And one thing I would say for women is, I hope and wish that women would do that more often. Because there's and I feel like I know who you are now, but like, you know, a year or two ago, I don't know what your journey really really was like at that point. So to be here, it's great, because it's just like, growth is a possibility. Females who, you know, the nails are out, the cattiness, the pettiness, or the meanness, you know, it's never impossible to kind of just put certain stuff aside and understand the realization of, you know, being grateful for like friendship or one's company, or regardless of certain things that didn't turn out how you expected them to be, but you can still grow and mature and change for the better. You know, what's your thoughts on all that? I did most of the talking. Come on.
Well, this is your podcast,
right?
You know,
but you're my guest. You're my guest.
She said, I did most of the talking. I mean, no, I agree. I feel like individually, we have to go through separate things
Right.
for us to grow. You've been through things in the past few years that has made you into the woman that you are today. I've been through things in the past few years that's made me into the woman that I am today. Of course, we still go through things.
No, of course.
It's gonna always
Never
happen.
ending,
It'll
yeah.
never be a smooth sailing road.
Yeah.
You gotta have those bumps in order to continue to grow. But I think once it was me, honestly, that held the guard up for so long, and I can take that. But once I let that guard down and really took a chance to be like, why am I still holding it? Like, she's actually a dope chick. Like, why am I still holding on to something that doesn't need to be held on to, you know? And then I'm like, oh, okay. And remember how many times I've told you, I wish I would have did this a long time ago.
But then we fast forward. This wasn't me, 5-10 years
true.
ago.
Very true. Yeah.
So, and like I said, there could be so many levels to so many things, which is, like I said, I feel like I don't have the most subscribers, but anybody who is listening, I'm grateful for an ear who is listening.
Oh, yes.
Because things like this, I feel like, aren't the things that are portrayed on social media, aren't portrayed between females, aren't portrayed in, friendships or relationships, family, this and that. Nothing or nobody is perfect. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your status is, how much money you have, how many degrees you have. I don't care. We are all human.
Yes.
Nobody is perfect. Nobody has everything figured out.
No.
You can be 30, 40, 50, 60, and you are still learning.
Every day.
Like, literally. So, I say that to say that the importance of kind of just letting things develop naturally and organically, which is probably one of the biggest things I've tried to share with you, because I've had, and I still have, anxiety. Control. You want to be control. As women, we like to control things. I like having information. I like knowing. And what I had to learn through my journey was, you can only control so much. There's only so many things you're going to be able to have under control or figure out or know. And that started to reflect in my relationships. Where it's just like, well, I've been with you X amount of years, or we've been this, but what's going to happen next? And guys just sitting there like, you done yet? You done trying to lean on your own understanding? You done trying to have what you want, when you want, how you want it? So, and that's not only with relationships. That can be with friendships.
Yes.
Where if we try to force talking back in the day, probably would have been like, I still don't like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So like you said, having those journeys separately to like, wow, for it to still end up leading like together is kind of the beauty in it, in the sense of, I never would have thought I had this much in common with you.
Right.
I could chill with you. We can joke around and say stupid stuff, or, be a little mean, this and that. And it ain't nothing, because we know what it is at the end of the day. We've been through our stuff. We've seen ourselves through it. We're strong. We're independent. Can't nobody tell us that, like, we ain't something, because we know our stories best.
Absolutely.
But there's also a beauty, ladies. You ain't always got to be so loud about it. She's not loud about a lot. Like, I had no clue about so much until we really got into talking. And I was like, at the end of the day, for dealing with all of that, you're still handling yourself pretty gracefully. And not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
So I don't say his baby mama, because you're not a baby mama.
No, no.
Not at all. Like, a baby mama is somebody who just don't know how to carry herself like a proper adult woman and respectable person.
Yeah.
A baby mama is bitter, who is not a good mother, that you put your emotions in front of your child enough to make it difficult, not only for the parent of your child, but for your child, while putting them in certain situations.
Yes,
So you are the mother to his child, and regardless of, if it's not that, you are together, you know the person you are. You're a good mother, you're a good woman, you're a good person altogether. And I think the world would be such a better place if, and it's not to say it's always women.
Yeah.
85%, yeah.
We'll take I will take it. We ain't got no choice. We'll take the 85%,
right. But and it's like, yes, there's guys out here too who make it difficult. But unfortunately, most of what you see in here is women making it difficult for the dads to be a dad. So like I said, that's why I respect you even more, because it's just like, you don't sit here and make it more difficult.
No, and I wouldn't. You know how many times, like I've told you, I wouldn't. My daughter has such a strong bond with her dad. And then I love that. No matter the situation between me and her dad, that's her best friend. That's her daddy. Like, it's always, where's daddy? We're going to go see daddy. I'm like, sure, whatever, we'll go see. So I can never take her away from him, and I can never take him away from her.
Yeah.
I like that they have that
bond.
Right. Because no matter if we're together or not, I want my daughter to have a dad. And she has a dad, and I'm beyond grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I say it all the time, I wouldn't wish her to have any other dad. He's perfect for her.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's some maturity in that, you know. So like I said, so we kind of dove into how we got to like know each other. Fast forward, what the connection is, and now what it's like stemmed into. So like, how would you describe? Because you're what, 32,
yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm not much older, but like there's the beauty. So I am 34. I'll be 35 this year.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, like I'm 30 and like we get so scared. But you know what? My 30s have been my best years, best years. So I'm not that much older than you, but it's like, there's such an excitement in talking to you about certain things as you get, because I feel like you really, as a woman, you don't really get to know yourself until you really start to head into those 30s. Like when you turn 30, it's like, oh my God, like I'm 30, like it's a new decade. Then 31, stuff kind of hits the fan. Like, we're just going to keep it real with you. Like, it hits the fan, like, stuff starts changing, hormones, skin, you know, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Time is going by so quick. And then by, like, 32, you're like, oh, okay, I could be like, this is cool.
Settling into into those 30s.
So I think, like, the beauty is me just being, like, a couple years, like, ahead of you or, like, friends who I have around your age. It's just like, no. It's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, like, you're not going to die. You're fine. It's okay. Just eat some ice cream. You know? So I think that's one of the most exciting things where, and I think I get misunderstood a lot of the time where it's just like, I'm not a know-it-all. No, I don't know everything. I'm good at a lot of things. I'm not a Jane of all trades. I'm a Jane of many trades.
Yes.
I've corrected that. So, like, I love helping people. I get excited to, like, share stuff with women and, you know, like, advice or, like, hey, listen, bro, I've been engaged twice. Didn't work out. But it's okay.
Life lessons, yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I have so many women who are like, oh my God, like it didn't work out, or they're holding on to somebody because they think that's the end all be all. Girl, let me tell you, because no, it ain't. I gave 2 engagement rings back. I'm okay. And I'm still blessed with an amazing man. Fast forward because I waited on God. I let things happen naturally and organically. When I met him, I said we could chill, but I'm only trying to be friends, and not them kind of friends either. He was like, okay. I was like,
and now look at y'all.
I was like, oh, like you like actually understand that? I said, oh, I wasn't ready for that. I said, okay, cool.
Tricked you. You thought you was gonna get a whole different answer, and you.
Because I said I got the guys before. Yeah, we could be friends. No, not those kind.
No.
So, I feel like the purpose of my journey genuinely is not only to help others, but to help other women. And there was such a lack in other women helping women. And so I'm from Buffalo, New York, born and raised. I know what it is here. It's good and bad. Not everybody like bad. But there's a struggle here.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. People are miserable. People aren't the kindest here. There's a whole lot of attitude. There's a whole lot of defensiveness. You got all the women, you know, there's the men bashing and baby daddy bashing, and there ain't no good men. Well, if you maybe just, you know, just a little bit, be a little more approachable, be more kind, you know, see the positive before the negative, or don't give the man the checklist before, and he's just trying to buy you a glass of wine.
Yeah.
That's, you know, my struggle sometimes with Buffalo, New York. But there are good ones. Like I said, I'm not coming at Buffalo, but facts are facts, and the reality is the reality. So you're from Tennessee, but like you're a homebody too. So I don't know how much you really get out.
Not anymore.
But like, do you feel like it's kind of that struggle with women there too, or
it's a big city, but everybody knows everybody, or you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. But it's a lot of hating. Like the women, it's a lot of hatred towards other women, and like seeing another woman do better is like you get talked about, or it's just like a downfall because no one wants to see you do better. And I'm like, why? If they do better, then you can learn something from them. You could do something for yourself. You can learn. The whole point for me is learning from other women, or you can learn from other men too. It doesn't have to just be learning from other women, but for women on women. Watch somebody be successful and then learn from them. So then you can be better for yourself or your kids, or just wanting to learn something, period, is better than nothing. Yeah. So there's a lot of that in Nashville. Yeah. Okay. So it's a big city, but bad attitudes, a lot of hating on other people for doing better than them. But at the end, they came from somewhere too. They didn't just get handed that. They had to work for that. So.
And I think that's what's misunderstood a lot. Like people just think like, oh, like, it just happens.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you know that. Yeah. You know, so it's not an overnight thing,
Yeah. And I think like, you know, and then even, you know, we're really early on, but I I'm going to put it in the universe. You know, this will be a next business in the making for any budgeting or financial help, you know, within yourself. But like you have even, you know, we kind of discussed like an exchange of services. You know, I helped with your daughter's birthday and you still supported me financially in that. And then the next thing was, you know, I said, hey, I see kind of like your lifestyle. You seem to have a decent control of it, especially like with the finances. I said, and I can't comprehend, you know, I'm good at so many things and I dread like the financial part of things. So I came to her, I said, girl, can you like help me with budgeting? Like, I just need like help with budgeting. What I liked about her is like, you made it super simplistic, because that's my problem. I sometimes don't even understand how my brain works, where I could retain this amount of information and not get overwhelmed. But then when I look at my finances, and I think I look at it as a whole, and I shut down.
It's the numbers. The numbers scare people. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be that difficult. There's numbers in almost everything we do, right? But if you write it all down, you only focus at little things at a time. So every week is something new. You don't focus on every single number you see, because then I give up too. I'd be like, okay,
it's too much.
These numbers are tracking me down. Like, but it's all about focusing little at a time. And the little, people don't like the little. They want it done right then and there. And I'm like, oh, I used to be the same way, but it's little by little, you'll see so much more growth and so much more difference in finances. Then you'll be like, oh, it was that easy? It takes time, but when you get there, you're like, oh, it was so worth it. So worth it,
And like I said, and I think that's the struggle these days, all the instant gratifications, like the social anxiety, you just want to get it done. So like, fast forward, like you have been helping me with my budgeting. You put it into those smaller perspectives, and I was like, okay, let me not look at the too much of a bigger picture that's going to overwhelm me. But let me just start here. And I have actually gotten like stuff taken care of. Effectively.
Proud of you.
Victoria,
yes.
I get this paid off.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Right.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, because it's to the point now you don't reach out. Like, you know, it's like the first couple weeks. Yes, I feel like everyone needs that hand for the first couple weeks when you're starting. And then after like that third, fourth week, it's like you figured it out. And you were hitting me up like, oh, I did this. And I'm like, oh, what?
But that's what I'm saying, because you put it into perspective for me. So like once I said, okay, you laid it out for me, and then I said, as I get the money, oh, I got money for this. Okay, she told me this is the thing to do next. This is the thing to do next. So, and that's why I tell people, I said, you don't really have to overthink or overcomplicate so much, where you can actually lay it out pretty simply, and then follow those steps, and that was probably the biggest part that you helped me with, is like, do this first, do the oldest first, small, so just that in itself was like so beneficial. And the financial freedom,
because I love to know what your goal is first. I need to know what your goal is when it comes to the budgeting and the money, and then it's easy to work with where you're trying to go.
It was working backwards.
Okay, great. So I know what you're wanting to do. I know what you have, what you got. Let's put it all together and figure out what we can do.
So it was things like that, girl. Like I said, so this is growth. So this was like us just chatting. This was probably the last 6 months to a year of us getting to like know each other. So just encouragement. Like come on, women. If we became a force together, we would be so fierce.
Yes.
And I don't think it has to be that difficult. It doesn't have to be that complicated. From a point of where we started, where we came from, what we've been through, to just be here. We're cool. Your baby girl is precious. He's in the midst of both of us craziness, and it's all cool. Like, it's all cool. I got her. I got him out. Listen, I'll cuss him out the same way I'll cuss him out in front of her too. It ain't nothing like that. But so like nothing is impossible. If you really want to see yourself grow or mature, I think you would probably say it definitely had to start within you.
Yeah. No, it did 100%. Yeah. I was not at a healthy place either. When I first knew you, when I first got introduced to you, I was young and I was not in a healthy place. Bad, toxic relationship, all that combined, and then just being overstimulated with different things in life. And then now I'm like, oh, that's behind me. And so I'm a whole different person. I'm healed in ways that I never thought that I would be healed. And it helps me as a woman to be a better friend, a better mother, a better woman, just all around a better person. So
And like I think you said it correctly, where everything you've been through, yes, it's behind you, but it never leaves you.
No, yeah.
You don't forget it.
Yeah.
And you don't cancel it out either.
It's you still use those things in your daily life.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And even if it's like, whether it's, losing somebody and even it doesn't have to physically be losing somebody, getting out of a toxic relationship, that part of you does die.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's even grief in those ways too, where it's just like, some days you might just like wake up and feel sad all over again, even though that thing happened, 5 years ago. So it never leaves you, but that is the importance of that mental and emotional health, that self-care within yourself. And if you're a spiritual person, taking care of your spirit, where that's almost like the base of everything. Mm-hmm. And when you take care of that, it reflects and takes care of everything else outside of that and around you.
Yeah.
So it's just like, that mental health is so important, in the sense of how you address things now is so different than how you addressed them 5-10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. and I think in anybody that's so underestimated these days, the importance of that, and just stepping back, if you got to step away and just take a moment, to do that. I don't think enough people are doing that these days. You know what I mean?
And you're too focused on
the facades.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Social media.
Yep.
And I think it's very nice to kind of find that person once in a while where it's just like,
that's why I relieve you.
I don't have to over-explain myself. I'm like, oh my God, like, that's not mean, that's not too rude.
Right.
And you're like, no. It's like, oh God, finally, yes. Like, that's an importance in itself too, where like I think friendships would be more rich if you could be that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and honestly too, if you're not like feeling like you can be that either in a friendship or relationship, evaluate it, reevaluate it.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm not against that at all. Yeah.
And don't feel bad or sad about it. Like, if something or someone ain't good for you,
no matter the years that you've known them, no matter nothing, if they're not fit to be where you need them to be in your life at the time, then you have control over your life and what decisions and who you have in your life. And that's
probably helped you massively over the years.
Oh yeah. Especially more so now. I'm very comfortable with myself now when it comes to friendships than I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So yeah.
And like I said, and that in itself is just we knew of each other way back then. We weren't good. I really didn't have the connection that would have made sense at that point in time anyway.
Yeah.
But then like fast forward, like I said, there's always a reason and everything. God always has his timing for, even when we don't understand it, where it's just like now in our time and where we are in our life to still come back and be like, cool. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's very nice to see that like evolving. And it gives me hope in the sense of I've always had that struggle of, just having friendships with women that kind of last longer than a certain amount of time, or don't feel like they're draining me, or like, oh God, I can't be my authentic self, or I'm too much of this, or I'm too much of that. So it was like, it keeps me hopeful. There's just like, okay, yes, even if it's one, doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah.
So like I'm grateful for that. I'm being all corny now. We cool.
All mushy, Keep it thug. We're thugs.
Right. We're like eating chocolates, hard on the outside, soft on the inside. So yes, this is the growth of women. It's never too late. It's sometimes we get in our own way.
Oh, 100%.
That's the best I could sum it up with.
Yep. Until we let that guard down and we allow ourselves to be open with each other, vulnerable in a sense too, to get to know each other. Yeah, for sure.
Guard, and you know what? And guard down, yes, but consciously letting the guard down, because you can't let your guard down just with anything and everybody as well.
Absolutely.
So I think that intuition is that intuition will talk to you, and us women love to ignore it. It's there, but we just we like to block it out. That red flag is right behind that man's head, or whatever the case may be, and we love
it to the side.
I just want to see. I just want to find out. So definitely like that intuition, but then also too, like as women, when we are friends, it's not, hey, let me get your advice. How does this sound? We're able to talk to each other about stuff and not be worried about how the advice is going to be given or what aspect it's being given in. And that's the thing, like being comfortable with yourself, knowing who you are, staying true to yourself. It always resorts to that. And when you do that, I feel like you're a perfect example of having that understanding where when you self-care, you know, you're true to yourself, you're confident in yourself, you know, you in your presence, I can tell that you're comfortable, like within yourself. And I didn't know you fully over like all the years, but I knew I was like, it's great to see that you are finally comfortable.
Yes.
Like in yourself.
I mean, because obviously at a time, even like within the past 3 years, I wasn't. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so you heard it here on Just Ask M. Got my girl Victoria from Tennessee in the house. Okay.
Represent the South.
Hey. She is 32, very independent, and not seeing anybody just yet. But you know
that this is like, wow, we're promoting. Okay.
Multi-purpose, you know. you never know where it goes. You never know who's watching.
Oh, man.
But thanks for joining me, girlie.
Thank you for having
and like
me.
I said, it's been great to have you here on this vacation. It's been very fun. It is encouraging to see the growth and maturity within you and I. And yeah, somebody's always watching, so never stop going.
Not the highway.
Yes, I hope you continue to tune in and subscribe.